Hey, it's Nikki Blonsky from the movie Hairspray. Hey, it's Nikki Blonsky.
Bungo Stray Dogs is a manga. Okay, listen, I'm running out of intros to do for the same damn video every month and it's getting tiring. Anyways, yeah, BSD 121.5 happened a month ago and now it's time for BSD 122. And also for me to lump in my little analysis for these chapters to get you guys up to speed. So without further ado, recap time for... BSD 121.5 was a brief but action-packed ordeal named A Mysterious Thing Called the Heart. The word used for the phrase, the heart, is directly read in Japanese as kokoro, and a few people have said that the title comes from one of Natsume Soseki's works called the same name, but what I haven't seen anyone else note is the title and its relation to Akutagawa, or specifically the short story about him which uses the same word kokoro in Japanese, the Heartless Cur. The reason I believe that this chapter is titled that is to play into the light novel as well. The Heartless Cur is a direct name for Akutagawa himself, and the story itself was about the origin of his and Dazai's relationship and him getting into the mafia. This is a story that tells us all about how Akutagawa has always been this aggressive beast of a person, about how there's so much hatred in his soul and how he's a heartless cur, a rage-ridden dog that obeys its master. And yet, as we know from Beast, anyone who believes that is wrong, and we're finally getting to see that arc in the main universe. Because how can you call Akutagawa heartless when it's his heart that remembers Atsushi? I cannot stress enough how important it is to me seeing Akutagawa's every memory wiped, and yet somehow he is still able to remember Atsushi, the first person in this universe not to either pity him or treat him like a monster. The reason Shinso Koku are so profound is because their relationship is far deeper than rivals. The bond that exists between the two of them is one of deep trust, and unlike with the past Sokoku generations, this one is built on one genuinely wanting to save the other. I'm working on a longer video about the Sokoku generation, so sorry if you want to hear more on that, I am saving that for the longer video. Another thing that happens in this chapter is that the hallucination shows Atsushi how to reach the fourth dimension version of the agency. And I say version because this isn't their physical presence in this dimension. No. They're soup right now. This is something else entirely that does not have enough words in the English language to describe. Anyways, the hallucination tells Atsushi that the dimension is what exists between the past, the present, and the future. And it's also what Gozen uses to get where it needs to go so quickly, since time doesn't move there. The hallucination also explains that any normal person would lose consciousness when faced with so much data, kinda like how Sigma passed out by data overload. That's why the Gozen stabbing the agency has them frozen in place, while stabbing Atsushi just sends him to that dimension with no other effect. And then Atsushi questions whether he's special. The hallucination tells him that he should know the answer to that. I'm still firm in my belief that the hallucination is Byaku with the way it's talking. Like, Dazai is nowhere near that formal in his way of speaking, and the only explanation for that would be if the hallucination is simply Byaku taking the form of a being Atsushi trusts to motivate him, ergo Dazai. The same way, in the recent arcs, Atsushi tends to hallucinate the agency and even Akutagawa at one point. Plus, the hallucination even says that this information is already stored in Atsushi. So who else would be supplying Atsushi but a being that has faced this sort of dilemma before with vast knowledge on how time works? A theory of mine is that Atsushi healing himself isn't just that, but Byaku turning back the internal clock of his body to before he was injured. Food for thought for you guys. In the end, the chapter concludes with the hallucination telling Atsushi to feel strongly to be able to access his full potential and move between dimensions smoothly. The meaning of this, I interpreted, is that Atsushi is emotional. It's at his lowest that he loses control of his ability, like when he was first kicked from the orphanage and Byaku lashed out without Fukuzawa's ability to keep her stable, and he accomplishes great things when he is desperate to help people. In the guild arc, Lucy helps Atsushi escape the airship, and in that desperation to help his friends, Byaku takes full control of him to get him to land safely. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that Atsushi needs to learn to accept Byaku as part of him, to truly be able to master his ability and get a sick-ass upgrade like Akutagawa so they can use the power of love to kill Fyodor. Yeah. Can I just talk about how amazing this chapter was? Like, I'm in literal awe between the Shinso Koku shit and the interdimensional escapades and how well thought out Byaku and Atsushi's dynamic is. Whatever, it's wonderful. I'm writing the script before 122 and I am sitting in my closet while recording it, so maybe I'll be able to live react to when it gets here. Actually, I won't because I might get too excited and scream or something and, break your guys' ear. Now, take a page out of Gozen's book and pass the mic to Future Cash. Okay, I was right about the agency being in another dimension, so I get to be wrong about the hallucination, okay? You win some, you lose some, guys. However, I'm still have my doubts about that, so let's get into the analyzing here. This chapter literally killed me when I read it, so I'm glad I wasn't recording my reaction because I did, unfortunately, fall off my bed. Anyways, the chapter starts with the hallucination telling Atsushi to feel strongly again. It's interesting to note that he chooses to harness a positive emotion, landing him right in the agency because that's when he's happiest. Oh, that's so sweet. I hope he doesn't see his mentor beating Akutagawa's ass soon. Anyways, another thing that happens is that Akutagawa sees Atsushi's physical body turning into soup next to him and triggers a very negative emotion in contrast. And here is when things get technical. The body is stored in the third dimension and the shadow in the second dimension, so I believe that the only place the memories can go from here is the fourth, since the first dimension is too compressed. That's why Akutagawa remembering his past shows it to Atsushi as well. It's interesting to me that him technically failing brings back the memories of Dazai as well, and maybe, just maybe, that's why he's always been so aggressive after losing a battle like this. It always brings him back to the same place, the same way that greed takes Atsushi back to the orphanage. And then the unthinkable happens. Atsushi sees Akutagawa's past for himself. Oh my god! We also get a narration from Akutagawa about how he resented the were-tiger from the moment he saw him for simply being better than him in Dazai's eyes. It was that anger that motivated him for so long. And yet, he gave up his life for not the were-tiger he demonized in his own eyes, but Atsushi. Atsushi, who has never treated him with any pity. There is this moment that I absolutely adore, where there's this look of deep guilt in Atsushi's eyes when he realizes that Dazai is Akutagawa's orphanage director, that he is the crux of his suffering. How is this boy supposed to spend time with the agency now, especially knowing what Dazai did to a boy who was just like him? Like the image of him crying and Akutagawa crying out as well. Holy shit. Fuck Asagiri. Did y'all know that Asagiri has a loving dad? Yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. Anyways, they approach a door that's too heavy for Atsushi to open, and the hallucination calls it a gateway for the divine being's core. And then the hallucination melts from Dazai into the orphanage director. Now there's the part when Atsushi addresses it as an after effect of Q's ability, and I think that's not the only part of it. Because why has no one else suffered from hallucinations? Kunakita was hit by the ability too, and he stopped hallucinating Sasaki right after, up to our knowledge at least. So why is Atsushi having these special hallucinations that know all about how time and space works? And why are they saying that this vast knowledge exists within Atsushi? Well, because I wasn't wrong, and it's Byakuya! It's because Byakuya is still at the heart of them. The only logical source for this time-space info dumping is that the hallucinations are gathering their info from her and presenting it to Atsushi. Unless, of course, Atsushi left for a few arcs to get an engineering degree. And also, Dazai can literally nullify all abilities, so I don't think it would be logical for certain remnants of Dear Kyusaku's ability to be left on Atsushi alone. No, instead, I think that ability made a gateway for Byakuya to be able to communicate with Atsushi. So yes, I still believe that the tiger is relevant to this arc because this one is all about coming to terms with oneself. Whether it's their past or their ability or their enemy, Shinso Koku are growing right now. And now it's Atsushi's turn to grow as well. Get yourself that ability upgrade, big man. Finally, the chapter ends with the door opening, and as we know, the hallucination won't be able to go in from here. Okay, before I sign off here, please do let me know if you guys still need me to do these recaps. I see a few people saying that they're waiting for my analyses to get on these, so I need the general consensus on what you guys want. It's gone to the point where it feels like my analyses are basically just me going, wow, the dogs really are stray, and lack any real critical thought since I try not to speculate too much and make something that's not very likely going to happen a common theory. So comment down below and tell me if you still need it. Comment down below and subscribe. Sorry, that was so stupid of me. Other than that, I suppose I'll see you guys all in May. Fun fact, Asagiri and Harakawa are doing a panel for Comic-Con in Italy, so you might see me being escorted out by security for crying too loudly upon seeing Harakawa Sango herself. Subscribe to my Patreon. I'm hosting a little poll of sorts to decide my upcoming videos, and my Patreoners are cool as hell. I love you guys. I'll see the rest of you all in the next one. Bye-bye.